right, we here. So, light shining like crazy. Keeping it 100, is it on clearance? Basically, right now as it stands, we got people talking about doing the right thing, being right for the right people, but is it good for everybody? You know, keeping it 100, standing on business, lead by example, however you want to go about it, all that's on clearance right now. You know, it's watered down. People not 100 as they say they are. People do stuff, and it ain't really on no particular time. It's just, that's how it is right now. The lifestyle we live right now, it's feasible for us to, snake somebody or treat somebody wrong. Because right now they starting to make it like it's a culture. Even with this that I talk about right here on my channel, as far as about money and stuff like that, hey man, that's lame. That ain't 100. Man, be broke. Spend your money. Go buy a nice car. Oh snap. Go live out. That little bug in my car opened the door earlier. But yeah, go live it out, man. Go ball out of control. Go overspend on stuff that you can't afford. Go, just do stuff. What the kids say now? What's that? YOLO. You only live once. So spend all your money. Buy the best car. I was watching this video yesterday, and they was referencing Tupac, saying that we'll have a race of babies that hate the ladies. And that was from the song Dear Mama. Queen of what's going on. And I was sitting there crying, laughing when I was listening to it. I was like, dang. Tupac, this dude wrote this song, Dear Mama. What was it like? It's like mid-90s. I'll say early 90s, because he died in 96. So it had to be like 93 or something like that. 92, 93. He wrote Dear Mama. And that song is hitting right now. We have a race of babies that hate the ladies. I mean, keeping it 100 on certain aspects of finance. Everybody ain't got no money. Everybody don't know how to spend their money. To the degree, we fake it till we make it. Because honestly, I can hit somebody right now, be like, hey man, how much was your interest rate on your car when you bought it? It was I don't remember, I forgot. How much your interest rate on your house? Oh man, they hit me over the head. I mean, everybody know right now it's 7%. But everybody not paying 7%. I guarantee that. People good credit not paying 7%. And if you come in there with a good credit score, good credit history, utilization is good, you might don't pay 7%. Then also, USDA loans. Living in a rural area, you're not paying 7%. Just the point. Like, they pushing that craziness. I mean, a lot of people know how to get around this red tape. A lot of people. Watching the guy Ramit, and he brought up a good point. Shout out to Alonzo. Alonzo gonna talk about this later on. And I forgot, I gotta go register myself while I'm talking about everybody else. To go to his luncheon this afternoon, renting versus buying. And one of the biggest aspects, the guy Ramit, I watch his channel, and he was talking about renting versus buying to the point where he literally said that if he were to buy a house in California that was 1.9 million it'll be about $10,500 a month. But if he rent that same exact house, he'll be paying $5,200. So where's the math on that? That means whoever owns that house been owning that house so long that they can afford to rent the house out for $5,000. And then you gotta look at the aspect of different things up there. Say you buy a house at this current market, you gotta get at least 10 to 15% off of that rent. Off of the buy. So that means you would have to rent that house out for at least what, $12,000 for you to at least only make $2,000, and out of that $2,000 you ain't even getting the whole you get $1,500. So you getting $1,500 a month off a $12,000 loan and stuff like that, which is really crazy. But like I say, doing the math, doing the numbers. But going into it, everybody has their aspect on how they doing their math and doing their pockets. Because honestly speaking, most people can't even afford to stay where they at. Say the least, you got a house. Let's say you're renting a house. Let's even go down to an apartment. For the most part, most people can't afford their apartment. They tell you you're supposed to make 3 times the amount of the rent. Most people don't make 3 times the amount. They make enough to pay the utilities and have that extra left over. Because honestly speaking, people were to buy a house or just stay back with family members. Prime example of my boys, my younger boys, my older 2, they, more or less my daughter, she pretty much wanted to get out on her own. That was the whole mindset and expectation. Go get my own place, do what I want. Because what do we always taught as kids? Grown people have their own. So I know I can't do what I want to do at mom's house, but I can do what I want to do at my house. Hold on right quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, but when it comes down to it, you're staying at your place, your house, your rules. So a lot of kids want to move out because they want that freedom. But the point of it is, like I was trying to explain to my 2 older kids about making sacrifices. My young kids, I'm trying to put them along the same way. You can leave, by all means. I'm not pressing none of my kids to stay with me. My wife, she already talking about being an empty nester, as people say anyway. But my thing is this. Your kid's going to be who they are. Your kid's going to do what they do. I've always told my kids, respectfully, as long as you abide by certain standards, because you're grown. Jake Weir in the house, what's going on with you? I'm not going to sit there and press my kids to, get out. But I told them that you're going to have to, do certain things in the house that's required. You're going to have to come home at a certain time, At least text me and let me know what's going on if you're not coming home, because if you were on your own and we just so happen to call your house and you're not there or come by or whatever and let you know we come by, it's going to be a point of concern. Same rule applied. If you're staying with us, it's going to be a point of concern, because furthermore, parents care about their kids, but the main concern that I'm trying to talk about is saving their money to a point to where when you're financially ready to leave, then you're at a good point. You're not financially ready to leave, I don't think it's wise. Society is already pushing a lot of kids to be more grown than they actually already are. And so that's one of the bigger issues amongst a lot of kids as a what they call the street term saying jumping off the porch. A lot of people jump off the porch too early. And with jumping off the porch, there's things behind that. You're gonna pretty much be out here relatively on your own. It's not the point, like, you still got your family, but at the same time, your family got their bills, they got their situation they got to deal with, and then Black Guns and Garden, what's going on? Man, I ain't been catching hardly none of your videos. Are you posting? Or, I don't know, the notifications ain't coming up. I know I caught one that you did, but other than that, man, I gotta go, do the not unfollow, but the turn off notification and turn it back on, I guess. But yeah, man, when it come down to it, a lot of times kids need that extra push, and they always need help. That's why I never understand, the whole narrative of 18, they grown, 18. Your kid is never going to stop. My uncle, up until the day my grandma passed, I think my uncle was like 46 when my grandma passed. This dude was still borrowing money from her. He was still standing around with her boss lady in the building, what's going on. And when it come down to it, like, your kids, it's like after 18, that's it. It's just a number. That's why I don't understand why we so pressed on these numbers. Even to the point that I'm talking about keeping it 100. The information that we got right now is all bogus. When a child turns 18, they grown. A child is grown by their standards on how they move. I mean, honestly speaking, at a young age, probably 13 or something like that, I was probably more responsible than most adults. I hung around a lot of old people. A lot of people, I always told me I had an old soul because the way I carried myself, I was considered a little grown before my time. I did a lot of stuff. Like my mustache, I had this in middle school. I had this full mustache like this in middle school. So think about the advantages that I had. I didn't get my sideburns. I think I got my sideburns probably, 8th grade, 7th to 8th grade. And they started coming down like pork chops. But for the most part, when it came down to it, I had a mustache in middle school. So I had a lot more advantages than most of my friends. I was getting into a lot other places doing stuff I shouldn't be doing. But the point of it was, I was mature with it. And when, like I say, I'm coming down to it, it's like, your kids, they in your life forever. Like that whole 18 and you grown, it's a standard on how that child, lives and raised, to where they carry themselves as being grown. I was paying bills, 15, paying bills? I got my own cell phone bill. I filed my taxes at 15 by myself. My grandma had retired. I was staying with her. So I filed my taxes at 15. I went to the library, learned the process where they had, some people were retired tax agents, some people worked for Jackson Hewitt, some people were just accountants. And they pretty much did the taxes for people there for free at the library. But it was to the standard of which they would explain certain things to you while doing your taxes, talking to you about stuff, and that was the thing. So I've always been to a point where I had a little more knowledge than most. Like I said, while everybody was partying and having fun over the summer, I was working. I was like, man, I need money. I want to buy my own school clothes. And it's to a standard where if your parents buy your clothes, they're going to buy what they want because that's their money. But when I was working, I bought what I wanted, you know. And it's funny how when you're a kid, man, you want your mama to buy these Jordans. You want your mama to get all these nice clothes. Dude, when I was buying my own clothes, you talking about responsible? Man, I was going in there get them two for 89 deals on the Reeboks back in the day. Everybody knew that Foot Locker had that sale on Reeboks. You get the 2 for 89 on the Reeboks. You get the I think they had Fila. They started having Filas, and I think probably the only thing I did buy was a pair of Air Force Ones. But that was the thing. I budget my money responsibly. I had to buy my own football shoes, my cleats for football. I bought my own wrestling shoes for wrestling and my track shoes. You know, so I bought all that stuff on my own. Paid all the stuff that I need to pay for my dues on my own. I did everything on my own. You know, so I was already setting myself up to pay bills and stuff. Like I told you, I always tell this story. Everybody that be on my channel, I always told you, like, my grandma went into the hospital one time. I actually paid all the bills in the house because she was in there for like, say about a month and a half. So the prior month she didn't pay because she went in probably the second week into the month. So all those bills prior to that month probably wasn't paid. Then we're going into that second month. Then she, by the end of that month, the next month was coming up. So it's gonna be 3 months behind. I actually went, got a purse, took all the bills, because bills come in the mail. See the bills, boom, took all the bills, did all them up, seeing that I had online at the AOL back then, took my laptop out, paid all the bills. It's crazy. A lot of people, man, if something were to happen right now, I guarantee you most kids won't even know how to do that. They'll be kind of hesitant on doing it. They'll be like, I don't know what to do. Like, I think one of my sons, my wife gave them the card and was trying to get them to go pay for something in the store. The lady had to actually show them how to use it and tell them, don't give me the PIN number. You just put the PIN number in. Because one of my sons was trying to tell the lady the PIN number. And the other twin was trying to tell him how to do it, but he didn't want to listen. So it's like stuff like that. And you know, my wife, she's to the point where she was like, you should already know how to do this. You see us do this all the time, but I think that was when they was about 10 and something. But like I told my wife, I was like, this generation, you got to actually physically say, look, this is how you use a credit card. This is how you do this. A lot of stuff, it was more or less visually. I seen people do it, so that's how I caught on. Same thing with my son, my oldest son. I sat down with him one day and I talked to him. I said, man, I think I really haven't, you know, talked to you or showed you certain things, how to improve your life, how to be better. And you know what he told me? He said, you didn't teach me, but I actually learned a lot of stuff by watching you. And that's the key thing. A lot of times we don't think our kids are paying attention, listening, but they are. They learning all this stuff. It comes to a point in which we got to actually set a standard. Hold on, hit this guy real quick. Hey, life be life. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Sorry, y'all. Wanda, what's going on with you? But like I said, when it come down to it, man, keeping it 100, man, with a lot of stuff and a lot of situations, people play games. People, it's just a lifestyle right now that people are living. Just how they playing it. We got to go by these certain kind of rules and standards, I guess, but we don't have to. You know, we make our own path, we make our own rules, we make our own situations, we make our own directions. Like I said, if your kids are learning mistakes from other people, because let's have an understanding. When it come down to it, you're not the only one raising your kids. I always say this now on this standard, kids are raising kids. No matter what I teach my boys, I've noticed when they go around other people are actually influencing them. I would say not to a degree more than me, but they're changing their aspect of their judgment on certain things and calls on certain things. So it gets to a point in which, when it come down to it, it's a lot of influence outside of my home. I have to keep that standard and, pressing my kids to say, look, I understand what's going on here. I understand what you're doing here. But this is the standard when you around me or when you doing this. Because you got to understand, to a degree, even like my kids, they're 13 now. At 13, people around me had such an impact on my life. I would do stuff at school that I didn't do at home, knowing I'd get in trouble for it. But it was just the influence of just wanting to be cool, wanting to fit in, and I get it. But I learned early that, what's the old saying that, what's the name of the OJs? They smile in your face, them backstabbers. It comes to a point where everybody will sit there and smile and laugh at you, but you're going to be the only one getting in trouble. You're going to be the only one going through it. You're going to be the only one catching the blues. You're going to be the one, bad, because your parents are doing the best that they can to raise you. Your parents are doing the most to put you in the right standing. Malika, what's going on? Your parents are putting you in the mindset the best that they can, and that's the thing. Now we're grown. It's up to us, Shout out to Roger. One thing he said, and it always, kind of stuck with me. The more or less I deal with my kids now, the more I deal with my older kids. When you 18, you responsible for your actions. Your kids, you do something wrong, man, the parents gonna get in trouble. Your kids, even though let's say your kid go rob a liquor store or something like that, your kid getting in trouble. But for the most part, it's gonna be on your head. How did you let your kid get like this? Why are you raising your kid like this? But for the most part, hey, like I said, on you. You should carry a standard for yourself. That's the more or less all the stuff that's going on YouTube, the talking about people, the this and that, and promote right quick. Everybody go register for Alonzo. Like I said, I'm gonna put it in one more time before I get off today. Everybody go register for Alonzo's luncheon this afternoon, talking about buying a home versus renting. And not only that, he's going to be talking about more stuff. I mean, when does society forget about knowledge being power? Let's say if I don't even want to buy a home, something that he tells or talks about can influence me to give this information to somebody else. Oh yeah, I forget. Everybody coming in, hit the like, share if you want to. Preference is yours. But the point of it is, information that he's giving, it can help you, it can impact you, it can impact your family members. So, like I said, just going and sit down, play it in the background while you're at work. Play it while you're driving, something like that. Get to a point of just listening to information and getting knowledge. Like I said, It's all fun and games. I laugh, I joke, I listen to the stuff too, but to be informed. Shout out to Swoop Like Me. Swoop Like Me with her channel. She always having some good information on there, and they're joking and having fun. It's a balance. It's a balance. And a lot of people gotta have that structure about balancing their life. You know, when it's time to have fun, it's time to have fun. But when it's time to be serious and be about business, let's learn how to balance that out, be about business. Every day ain't all play, all games, all effery and stuff like that. Sometimes you got to get serious. Sometimes you got to, do the right thing for you. Sometimes you got to put yourself in the right light. Sometimes you got to be right for you. When it comes down to it, how are we living? What are we doing with our life? Because, honestly speaking, me being at the age I'm at in my 40s, if somebody would have said, man, you would have your kids in this mindset, you would be this way, I would have probably never thought it, because when you're young, you have a different vision or, thoughts on things. Over time, stuff change. When it comes down to it, we're not the same person we were when we were younger. And if you are, you should have evolved by now. You should have a little more knowledge about yourself. You should have grown into a better person. And certain things of a standard, can remain the same. But the hint is this. Do I want to always be this dull person? I always want to have a standard of being a penny pincher. Stuff like that. You should be evolving to a point that's like this. When I was, I say probably, what was it when I first started working there? Full time, probably 19 or so. I was working at this job full time. And the guy was telling me about 401ks. I should have invested in that 401k when he told me about it. I was like, man, I ain't worrying about that. Wasn't trying to listen to the guy. Probably 8 years passed, and I entertained myself about, doing the 401k. Man, don't you know, I regret having that, not putting my money in that 401k earlier. Just because my thing was this. I wasn't taught this when I was young. This is stuff that you got to learn and, be on. Like now, shout out to Alonzo. I got my boys' life insurance, when they were young. My grandma and my mom, they did it for me. They got me life insurance when I was young. But the thing of it is, I got them an IUL to where they can carry it over to their adulthood. I don't have like the Gerber policy that when I turn 18 and nothing don't happen to me, the policy just pretty much diminishes like a term policy. I actually got a full life insurance for them, carrying into their adulthood to where if I don't pay it, they can pay it themselves. You know how many people have childhood illness that they can't get life insurance for? You all of a sudden get cancer and, St. Jude's, all the people, you hear about St. Jude's and the stories about these young kids. If they do get the life insurance, it's literally so expensive. They can't afford it. So, just getting a policy just when they're young, it takes a cake. Like, getting it young, like, now, a lot of people, it's never not a moment not to get life insurance. Going back to that, keeping it 100. If you die right now, what's going to happen to your kids? What's going to happen to you? Let alone, let's say you don't even have kids. Who's going to take care of your remains? Who's going to plan your funeral? Nobody don't think about this stuff until it happens. Shout out to Alonzo when he was talking about this the other day, talking about Michael Jackson's estate. I said I think Michael Jackson actually had life insurance, but just had it up on their trust. And within that trust, he already has a trust. Nobody knows who's in the trust until they make it public. But I mean, hey, when it come down to it, I'm finna go to get off of here. You know what I do? I gotta stick and move. I gotta go. Shouldn't have said that. Hey. Thinking about it, people always saying pause is crazy. But shout out to everybody in the building. You know, keep it 100 with yourself. Get some information that's gonna, help you. Shout out, go sub to Alonzo. You know, uh, check out the live he's gonna have this afternoon for the luncheon, and have an understanding, man. Try to learn something and grow. It's up to you. If you can do it every day, that's perfect. But the point is, try to grow. Find some information that can help you and put you in the right light and be a better you. Lisa J in the building, what's going on? Yeah, man, I got to get on my stock game. I got to get my stocks up. That's one thing I haven't bounced back from. I've been doing everything, trying to get in everything. I got a crowd fund that I was dealing with some people. We were doing stocks. I still got money invested in it, but individually wise, I just fell off of it. Like, I got to get back on that myself individually. Me and my cousin been talking. I actually got my cousin in stocks. That's the crazy part. I got him investing in the stocks, doing things, and his portfolio is actually pretty good. He went from 2 stocks to like 30 stocks now in the past year and a half, 2 years of him just doing it. So he likes it. But shout out to everybody. Once again, you know what I always say when I leave the building. We here and we gone. Peace.